What is up, guys? My name is Babylonian here, coming to you with another anime review of the first three episodes of Shoukoku no Altair. So, Shoukoku no Altair is about Mamut, the main character, who is the youngest person to become a bureaucrat. He's part of the bureaucracy, the youngest bureaucrat. So throughout his life, he's always been working up to that, and eventually becomes a warrior. It's super hard. They give a whole montage, and it's about him basically facing all the political, I guess, conflicts between the empire, which is the biggest land. I guess they control most of the land, and the statocracy of Turkey. So he basically facing all those political conflicts. And in the Empire, the antagonist is Louis Virgilio. He's basically the bad guy. He's trying to start a war. The reasons as to why he's trying to start a war aren't exactly clear, but based on me watching anime in general, I'm guessing that he wants to start a war and eventually overthrow the king, or maybe just expand his own power by expanding the Empire's territory. So, Mamut, basically, his reasons for becoming a bureaucrat is that when he was younger, 12 years ago, there was a huge war, and his mother died in that war, and there were many casualties. So he became a bureaucrat in order to prevent that from ever happening again. As such, he takes many actions to try to prevent casualties, such as rushing in to save hostages from another nation, from one of the villages, or basically doing anything he can to save anyone's life. However, later on in the anime, in the third episode, he realizes that everything he did was actually kind of rash, and that he didn't really understand the political scene. He just acted based on his own emotions, that when he saw somebody in danger, he tried to save them, when in actuality, he wasn't really taking into consideration the political side effects his actions could have had, and could have actually led to a war if he'd had many mistakes. So, in the third episode, his power was actually renounced. His position was stripped away from him, so he could basically gain experience by allowing him to travel the area. I believe this anime takes place in the Middle East, considering there's Turkey, Araba. I think it's like they're like, like denominations of Arabia and Turkey. So it takes place in the Middle East. And another character I want to talk about is Zahir. So, in the beginning of the anime, like the first two episodes, Zahir is kind of portrayed as like kind of like a bad guy. Like he's just in it for himself. He doesn't really care about anybody else. Like the decisions he makes seem kind of like a bad bureaucrat decision. Like he's evil. He's just out for personal gain. However, in the third episode is a real turning point in his character, because in the third episode, at the very end, he gives Mamut, after Mamut gets his stripped away from him, this prism that basically allows Zahir to get all the information from spies around the entire area, the world where this anime takes place in the Middle East. So, by giving Mamut the sphere, he kind of entrusts him that, okay, I trust you that you will use this information and you'll return well with a lot of knowledge, and I trust that you'll help prevent this war. So, but prior to that, and in addition, Zahir also acknowledged that that he was wrong, and that Mamut really saved his ass. Like, after that happened, like your whole view of Zahir completely changes. Like he sees the whole picture, and the reason he acted the way he did is because he sees the whole picture. He isn't really a bad guy, as some might be misled to believe in the beginning. And and then there's Shara. So Shara is like this dancer who really gives life to Mamut. So Mamut is really serious, he really wants to study, he's really trying to be successful, So Shara is really like a flare of life to him. She really adds to his emotional side. She brings out, his teenage boy. Oh, he's nervous around girls. Oh, he doesn't want to dance. He doesn't know how to act. You know, she's very beautiful. Some people might just say it's just fan service, but in action, like honestly, that's how they dressed during that time. And she's a dancer, so in order to give like realism to it, she kind of has to dress that way. So she really touches on the emotional side of Mamut. And then there's Sehir. So Sehir is like all their positions are kind of weird because they have a different political system. But Sehir is kind of like the main leader of like not the highest, but like the second tier political leaders in Turkey. He kind of works as Mahmut's mentor because in a flashback it shows Sehir kind of telling Mahmut and guiding him to become a bureaucrat. And later in the third episode, he advises Mahmut and tells him to travel the world and adds reason to why he was stripped of his bureaucratic status. And he really guides Mahmut in the beginning. Yeah, and then there's Luis Virgilio. He's basically just a bad guy trying to start a war and trying to kill people. And yeah, the Empire is just most people in the Empire are just portrayed as bad, evil, trying to kill people. So yeah, especially the military generals. So my final thoughts about this anime, Shoukoku no Altair. So honestly, when I was looking at the opening and just seeing the whole setting and everything, I was expecting action. I was expecting many action sequences, and I was very let down by this anime in terms of the action sequences because there was barely any action, to be honest. Maybe at the end of the first episode and then in the third episode in the middle, but those were both very short scenes too. So I was really disappointed about that. Yeah, so that kind of turned me off in the beginning. However, just in general, the whole storyline of Shoukoku no Altair is kind of mediocre. Yeah, because I guess I was kind of comparing it to Magi in terms of action and everything, because Magi did have a nice dose of action, drama, everything meshed together very well. Shoukoku no Altair does not have very much action. But then in terms of storyline, it's also kind of mediocre. It doesn't really do like something wow, but it's not like terribly boring either. It's like it's okay. It's a show you can watch, but you're not gonna get wowed by it, basically. So me, honestly, I really am into action. However, so I won't be continuing Shoukoku no Altair because I'm just not interested as much in the whole war political drama as I am in the action fighting battle sequences. So my final verdict is if you're really into action, big scenes, flashy fighting, this is really not a show for you because this is primarily drama. However, if you're into like war, political drama, not necessarily the fighting or action part, just mainly how the tensions rise, how war is done, then you might find this entertaining. And definitely if you're into like the war dramas, you should take a look at this. But just know that it's not anything exceptional. So that's my take on Shoukoku no Altair. And if you watch it, I hope you like it. And if you don't, well, check out another episode of mine. Subscribe and check out more, I guess, videos to find out about more anime.